Buongiorno a tutti and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today we are racing in the Ferrari at Imola. This once again is another episode of my series, which I'm kind of still deciding on the name, but it's along the lines of what if F1 returned to ? And in this case, we are here at San Marino at the legendary Imola circuit. Now, the current version of Imola has changed a lot recently compared to what we used to know it as in F1, and especially in the last sector, which is now just a massive pit straight leading down to Tamburello. So things have changed a little bit, but still the real, big essence of the track, especially for Sector 2, that still remains. So I think it could be an interesting one. And the objective of this series is, in many ways, to revisit past F1 tracks with the current 2019 F1 car, which is arguably the fastest F1 car ever, and kind of get a comparison of what today's cars are like relative to the cars back in the day when they used to race here. And this one was very highly requested, guys. There's a few other ones I'm going to do, of course. You guys are really bombarding me with suggestions in the last couple of episodes, and I do thank you for that, because we are going to have quite a few episodes of this series, and hopefully you guys do stick around for the ride and give this series a chance once again. But today we are racing in Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari. This car itself is actually a generic 2019 car mod. There'll be linked down below in the description. It is a paid mod, but trust me, it's absolutely worth it. It's a fantastic piece of kit and a really fun car to drive, and we've got the Ferrari skin on this time, so it's only fitting that we do race at Imola with the prancing horse. With that being said, though, we're going to jump into the track and we're going to see how things go. And I'm looking forward to this. Imola's a track that I love. It's a really good track, and I think it can make for very good racing here in F1 with the massive pit straight. With that being said, though, we're going to hit the track and let's get this car shaken down. Let's see how things are around this circuit. Okay, so before we completely hit the track, just a few things I want to point out. Now, first of all, I'm going to remove the jagged edge mirror, not the mirrors, it's kind of like the visor on the front of the car, just above the steering wheel. I'm going to leave it with a flat one, which is the generic one. Also, I've raised the camera slightly due to your comments in the last episode. I did ask, should I keep it how it was, or should I raise it a little bit? And you guys seem to generally say to change the camera a little bit. So I've gone a little bit higher, not too much, because I want to keep it, somewhat realistic still, but we are a little higher up than what we're used to. With that being said, though, let's give it a little rev and let's hit the racetrack here and let's see how this goes straight away. We're going to see how the Ferrari handles. I've also got to calibrate my steering wheel here, so that might take a couple of seconds and a couple of corners to get all hooked up. A couple of brake checks there just to make sure. But we are going to hit the track here for the first time. We're going to take a little bit easy here on the outlap, just to acclimatise ourselves a little bit to the layout. So you've got the first chicane here. You can take a big chunk out of these chicanes, but not too much, otherwise you will be in trouble. Then this one here, turn 3, very tricky one, because you can spin very easily through there. You want to try and keep it flat, but it can be a bit of an issue. Then into 4 and 5, left-right chicane, which is very tricky. And then in towards the hairpin. I can't lie, since F1's last been here, I've pretty much completely forgotten all the names of the corners. So I do apologise for that. I used to know quite a few corner names around here, but I've lost a lot of them just because I haven't really seen this track in a long time. But either way, down the hill then, through the left, very tricky corner. This one kind of blinded. You don't really see the apex to the last minute. And then we go down towards Acqua Minerale. This one I do remember the name of. Kind of double apex right, which feeds up into the hill. Got to be careful here getting on the power, because it's very easy to lose the back end, especially with these turbocharged beasts. It can be very easy to slip on the rear when you get on the power. And then into the chicane here, very tricky one. This one, depending on how much curb you want to take, you want to try and stay off the AstroTurf if possible on the right hand side, because that's going to really make you struggle when it comes to overall traction. And this is where the track has changed. Before there used to be a chicane at the final corner before the pit straight, but now these are the final two corners and you go straight onto the main straight here. So it's important to get a good exit, especially through this one here, to really set you up. And there we go, onto the now modified and updated pit straight. We're going to open up the DRS right about now. I'll probably open it up right at the start of the straight, to be honest with you, seeing as F1 doesn't race here. We're going to have just one DRS zone around here, which is going to be this straight for this track. But let's go a little bit quicker now. And we're going to give the track plenty of respect at first. I want to build up my confidence around here, flat out through there, just to get an understanding of how things are. Obviously we can also move into setup changes later on, so we can take fuel out, and change the aerodynamics and brake bias, just as soon as we get more confidence. I just remember now this hairpin, which I've absolutely been there, the lack of confidence there, that was the Tosa hairpin, which I've just remembered now, so you can allow for me in the comments on that one. But anyway, there you go, there's the first spin, and at very low speed, which is kind of where this car doesn't give you much confidence at. But we're going to keep going. Like I said, it's all about building up confidence around this circuit and getting that kind of feel where you can really chuck the car into these corners, because you really need to have a car underneath you where you can feel like you can attack the racetrack again. See, the back end just comes around there. Might have to do some aerodynamic tweaks there just to make sure the back end stays a little bit more planted. There's the downshift protection, got to be careful with that as well. Can't really downshift like I do in F1 2018, of course. And there's the AstroTurf as well, which I mentioned before, you've got to be very careful on there. But either way, let's sort out these final 2 corners. And we're going to go for another lap here. I feel like the back end's just so sensitive though to coming round at the minute, so I'm probably going to spin quite a lot. I can see it happening. We're going to open up DRS straight away. There we go, it becomes available. Setup tweaks are going to be necessary, but I want to try and see if I can get a relative banker in with the default baseline setup. So here we go, we're going to push a little bit more this time. Going to push the limits through 1, 2 and 3. Not much grip at the minute, or much confidence to put the power down either, but we are going to get through okay. Now let's try and push this chicane a little bit more here. A little bit wide there onto that curb, but we'll get away with it. Toes a hairpin this time. 3rd gear, easy on the power. We're going to give it a lot of respect this time. And then up the hill. Spot the blind apex, there we go. Comes up at the rather last second. Down the hill towards Aqua Minerale here. No reason to lose the back end as we almost lost it last time. Just have no confidence at the minute in the car to really push that second apex. On the power though, that's not too bad. The car feels good on the traction, which is good. Makes a change. Into the chicane. We're going to attack that first one. And that second one as well. We're going to be on AstroTurf a little bit, but we'll get away with it again. Just trying to get an understanding here of how the car feels, what changes they need to make to the setup. Down the hill then, towards the double lefts, which I'm sure they have a name, but I cannot remember it right now. It's just been so long since I've raced it. About the final corner, pretty smooth exit, a little bit cautious, but we are going to come up to the line and set our first relative banker time. What's it going to be? A 121.4, so there we go. That's not too bad. Now we're going to try and push a little bit more on this lap and see what we can do. Turn 1, using those curbs a bit more. Flat out through 3, finding that confidence a little bit now. Let's push this chicane. I think I can take a better line through here. There we go, that was much better. Opening up the right hand a little bit by sacrificing the left. Toes a hairpin. Focus on a wide entry. And then a narrow exit. There we go, that's much better. 7/10 up already. I can definitely find a lot more speed through this left-hander. Throw the car in. There we go. I reckon I could probably do that in 6, to be honest, with a few setup changes. And then Aqua Minerale. Much later on the brakes this time. Back end's trying to come round, but we are going to hold it on. There we go, we found a lot of time through there this time. Now for the chicane. Oh, back end wants to slip away there. We're going to have to get the power down on the AstroTurf, which is not what I want, but we are going to, once again, not have any issues on traction. 2.5 up here. Oh, I got that curb on the braking, which is going to put me offline a little bit. I'm going to use 3rd through here if I can. On the power, not the best exit, but it will do. Lost a little bit of time there in those final 2 corners, but we are going to improve by pretty much a 2.5. Will we get to the 119s? Not quite, so 20-0. Right, so I think we're pretty much already, I won't say on the limit, but you know, we're pushing this baseline setup already now. The confidence is starting to build. So I'm going to try this lap one more time, and then we'll probably make some setup changes. So let's go in here, see if I can find some more lap time. That was not too bad. Lost the back end a bit mid-corner. Into Tosa. If I can just get the power on earlier, there we go, that's much better. Up the hill. Wait for the apex to appear. I'm going to try 6th gear this time. Oh, that's pretty good, that works better. Aqua Minerale, can we push it again? Oh, that was much later on the brakes that time. Found a little bit more time there. Now for the chicane, let's try and keep this a bit cleaner. There we go, that's a much better exit. We sacrificed the first apex a little bit to find a bit more time for the second. Now down the hill. Off the curb this time, which is going to find me a lot of time. I'm going to keep it in 4th through the final corner. A little bit wide there. We're going to lose a little bit of time on overall traction, but we have found 0.8 of a second. Forgot to open DRS there, but that's okay. We'll still make up a little bit of time. And there we go, 19.1. I reckon that's about as good as it's going to get now. So we're going to make some setup changes, and we're going to see how much more we can get that lap time down. But with the default setup, you're looking at a low 19, high 18 with this car, so not too shabby. But let's go back to the garage and do some changes to the car. Okay, so I've done the changes. I've moved the brakes a little bit more towards the rear. I've added a little bit more rear wing because I want to have a little bit more stability so I can have more confidence for the corners, and I've also knocked some fuel out. So the tyres we've kept the same, and also the ERS isn't maxed out just yet, but running it balanced high. I was running it in balanced low, so I'm a little bit higher on the engine mode, but not too high. So here we go, we're not 100% full beans yet, but this should be a little bit more of a representative lap time. So let's push, and let's see how the confidence is straight away. A lot later on the brakes. Through turn 1, a little bit too much curb there on that inside one, but we'll be okay, we'll get away with it. We are down on the delta slightly. We are going to make up some time as we now race down towards the second chicane. A little bit of a corner cut there, but we'll keep going. Very, very good through there. The car's sticking quite nicely. Toast a hairpin, you could go early apex and sacrifice your exit, or go like I do, wide in and narrow out with the focus on the exit. This time we should find a lot of speed through here. Through the left in 6th gear. A little bit too much curb on the inside, but we are going to still gain some time. Minerale, I want to keep it in 7th. Down a few gears. Oh, back in there trying to get away, but we do find some more time. Now for the chicane, I'm going to throw the car in a little bit more this time. See if the car sticks or not. That's wide. Damn it. I tried to push a little bit. I did push him out a lap through the chicane, and it did work, but not in that occasion. So we're going to do a 3-point turn here, as I can't seem to flick spin the car, but we'll be back with you very shortly for another lap. So let's get this car turned around if we can. Right then, out the final corner on the power. DRS open straight away. My wheels got a little bit light all of a sudden, but we'll keep going. Hopefully it'll just readjust itself. But there's about a second on that lap time already, so let's try and push. This time let's try and get turn 1 a little bit better. That's better. Oh, the cut there, that was dangerous. Very, very risky, but we got away with it. Through the chicane. That's pretty good through there again. Tosa. A little bit earlier on the apex than I'd like, but we are going to get the power quite comfortably. Not as fast as last time, but hopefully we can make up some time. Through the left. Turning a little bit later that time. A little bit too cautious there. I think I could have carried a lot more speed. Minerale. Get it slowed down. Tried to turn a little bit earlier there, attack that inside curb. More or less worked out okay. Now for the chicane, I'm going to try and throw it in one more time. A little bit cautious this time, but still, throw it in there somewhat. And we find some more time there, a little bit wide, but we are going to continue on. Almost a second up, 3/4 of a second to be exact. Down the hill. Late on the brakes, that's pretty good. On the power, little clip of the inside curb. That's much tidier through there. We find some time, DRS open, giving a little bit of a tighter line to the line, and we are going to find exactly a second. 18.1, let's try and push a 117 with this setup before we make any further changes. That was great, that was fantastic. Found 2/10 through there already, the car was really gripping up. Through here again, I can find some more time I think. Not ideal to be fair, I lost a little bit of time to be fair. I just didn't get that second apex sorted out. Oh, and on the power there, got on the loud pedal a little bit too quick. But we're still up, I can find some time through this left-hander though. That's pretty good through there. Minerale again. That's pretty tidy through there, nice bit of power this time. We managed to find that confidence on the traction now for the chicane. It kind of worked a little bit lost a little bit too much corner mid-speed. I got the brakes a little bit too much, but we are 10th up. We can still get into the 117s here. That's a good exit. We have actually lost a little bit of time though. Lost all that delta time. We are going to improve by literally a fraction, but it's not going to be enough. There we go, improved by 11 thousandths of a second. Literally nothing. So we're going to probably come back into the pit lane and make some setup changes. Once again, we're going to take a little bit more fuel, I think. And I'm going to bolt on the Ultra Softs. I'm currently still on the Supers, so I'm now going to go into the Ultras, which is the fastest compound available, which is the equivalent to the C5s, I believe, in real life. So we're going to get those tyres on, and then we're going to make those setup changes. Okay, Ultra Softs bolted on, or the C5s. We've reduced the fuel from 15 to 10 litres, and now the big change, the ERS mode, from balanced higher to hot lap mode, so we're going to pretty much be at full power now. I want to try and get into the 116s. I think that could be possible on a perfect lap with, full beans. So here we go. Let's give it a full power lap then. They'll put a little bit less talking, a little bit more concentration. Right, let's give this a good old go. That was okay through there, not great. Turn 1 was a little bit too slow. Use 5th through there for a change, it kind of works. Into Tosa. Back end's trying to step around a little bit. Power down very early there. The confidence starting to show. Oh, that's wide. We'll keep the foot planted though. That's really nice. The hot lap mode is making me miss my braking points a little bit, but we're still up 9/10. I was okay through there, a little bit cautious, but we're finding more and more time. We're going to easily get into the 116s here. Oh, lock up on the front left, let's keep going. A little bit scruffy through there as well. Oh, back in almost slipped away. DRS open, 1.2 up though. So it's going to be enough. We're out of DRS, to be fair, I didn't realise. We're losing time, but we are going to improve to a 16.9. I'm going to have a cooldown lap now to get my ERS back charged up. But there we go, 116.9. Let's get it, I want to say, I reckon we can get it below a 16.5. I reckon into maybe, into the lower half of the 116s. I reckon that's possible. So we're going to have a little cooldown lap and we'll go again one more time. But this track is so much fun to drive, it really is. It's absolutely fantastic, just love it so much. The car's hooked up, it's just great, even though it's lost a little bit of its character in that final sector. 20 years ago there used to be 2 chicanes, then there was 1, and now there's none. So it's a shame, but in many ways the current layout of the final sector would allow for, modern day F1 cars to race because the straight is so long. So it could work, you never know, it could actually work in F1. But anyway, let's cool off the car and get going for one more lap here. Right then, let's try this one more time. An all or nothing lap. Go big or go home. Let's give it everything. Back end. Damn it, just slipped away there. Bit scruffy again through there. Much tidier final couple of corners there. Here we go, up to the line, out of ERS, we're going to keep a tight line. We are going to improve, 16.6, and I think we're going to call it there. That was good fun though. This track is just so much, of a challenge. You can really push and find time. You can see here I'm just, when you've got the setup hooked up and the car's working, you can just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, but this track just allows for so much, fun and just overall time trial experience, guys. But wow, what a lap that was. I think that's, near enough the maximum. I think maybe a 0.5 is in there because we did find some time. It was about 10th up until halfway through the lap, and then we threw it all away more or less into the Aqua Minerale / this also left-hander here. But generally speaking, it wasn't too bad of a lap. I'll leave you guys now with the full replay of the lap as usual, so you can see it from replay camera if you'd like. But yeah guys, that is going to be it for this video, and once again another episode of the What If F1 Return / Raced At series. And leave your comments down below guys in terms of what you thought of this video, and also what tracks you'd like me to see you do next. Istanbul's very popular, Magny-Cours very popular, so we'll definitely get onto those very soon. But with that being said guys, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy this particular one, and also subscribe if you are new to the channel guys for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content, and turn on notifications guys to not miss a video from me. And also finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed. And other than that guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.